So, drawing, it can suck, honestly. It can be hard, it could be easy, it could just suck in general. So, I'm gonna make a tutorial on the basics of drawing, okay? So, like, everything you would want to know when it comes to bodies, hair, body types, arms, hands, eyes, literally anything. I'm just gonna teach you all of that. So, yeah, I guess let's do it. Okay, so what you're gonna need is obviously a pencil. I recommend using a mechanical pencil with the lead size either being 0.7 or 0.5. It's honestly just like the best for me. But if you want to use just a normal number 2 pencil or any other mechanical pencil with lead with any lead size, it's really up to you. I just like 0.7 or 0.5. Obviously, gotta have lead with you because you might run out, or if you're using an old pencil, have a pencil sharpener. Just have a backup eraser because you never know if like your eraser is gonna run out or not. So just have a backup one. And then I'd have just literally any pen. I like to use this pen. I don't know, it's just very nice for me. It's just my favorite pen I've been using. It's literally nothing special. Or you can use one of them, like either, or use a ballpoint pen. But it doesn't really matter. But yeah, this is your materials, and obviously just have any sort of paper. Honestly, having obviously normal paper is nice, or thick paper, or an actual sketchbook. I don't know why I've been using lined paper, that's just what I do. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first I'm gonna teach you guys how to draw like well, so sorry. I'm gonna teach you guys how to draw like head shapes, because honestly side views have been the hardest for me, and just heads in general. So just get new page. We don't talk about that, that's really bad. Okay, so what you're gonna want to do, we're gonna start off with a side view. So for side views, what I do is I like to draw just basic circle, right? And then obviously and then what I do is I would like to put a cross in it, like that. And then from this little point here, I would bring a line down like this. So this is kind of like what the basic stuff would look like. And then obviously hair start would be like there. And just a heads up for when you draw hair on the side, or just in general, make sure you have a little bit of space, because obviously hair has like volume to it. And then you're just gonna want to draw a spot for the ear. I just usually like to do a little box, and if you can, hold on. If you can see, that's kind of what I did here for this practice. You can see that the box is there, circle, and then like the cross too. That just helps the most, honestly. It's like that. And then what I do is I usually start around here, is where I would do sort of the jaw, and then where this line is, I would do like a slanted curve, kind of like this. Then usually I would shape the ear around now, so just do like a little curve, kind of. Sorry, I'm really bad at explaining like almost anything. It's kind of like doing like a half heart shape. It's like this usually, except it's more not pointed at the bottom, and then there's like be a line there. It's kind of like a half heart shape. It doesn't really matter where you do it. It's really just a heart like this. It's literally just a heart. And then from here is where I would start to do a little curve for like the face part. And then I would. So in theory, it would really just be a line and then be like this. That's literally what it is what the nose would be like. And they'd be from any angle too. It's literally like that. And then you can kind of see it looks a little bit like a side view. Around this point is where I would curve to make the neck part, like that. Honestly, no, you won't want to bring the neck straight down, because if you look at like the back of like someone's actual neck, you can see it curves. Then for shadow, I would start the point of the jawline and just color it in black or whatever you want. Then obviously do that just like that. So yeah, you can see all like the guidelines. So I'm just gonna make the actual drawing part outlined in black, but keep the guidelines. Just like that. So it may look a little off for me, but heads up, when drawing eyes from the side, never do it in like the way you do it from a front view. That is a no-no. What you want to do is make it in a form of like a triangle, kind of, where it'd be a curve and then sort of like a triangle shape, like that. If I can find one of my figures from a side view, you might be able to see. I think this one might kind of work, but if you look at literally like anime figures or just like faces in general, you can see that from their side, it's like a triangle. We're gonna use this figure as an example. If you kind of put it at an angle, you can kind of see it's more like sort of in that like way. It's like kind of like a lot smaller instead of being from the front like that. You can see that if you look at his eye from an angle, it's kind of like this. It's like sort of, it's like small, but from the front, it's like this. It's more because of his eye shape, it's like different, but half the time usually you would want to do it in like this sort of way. But it really depends on the character's eye shape. But yeah, usually if you're gonna draw eyes from the side, don't make it where it's like looking from like a side from the front view, because that would look a little off. But it's honestly up on the character, really. But mainly you would want to do it this way. So if we would add an eye, you can see like that. Next, we're going to be doing, honestly, the stuff I hate the most, front views. So front views, they can really suck, but the basic shapes is a circle and a triangle. That's literally what it is. So first, I want to draw a circle, then draw a little line in the middle, like that. What I like to do is I like to mark the side of the head, like that. And then, obviously, this part, just want to draw a little triangle. You can kind of see it starting to form. And I like to mark the line of where it is. Then, just gonna want to kind of just kind of go over it in a way, because since of like this little like dip, you're gonna have to add a dip in to like clean it up a little. You can see that there's like a dip there. Want to add a dip and then like a little point and then connect like that. You can kind of see it now. And if you also kind of look, you can kind of see it that from a side view, you can kind of see that dip a little bit, but usually it's not as like, very visible from angles. But you can kind of see it now. What I like to do is add an extra line for where the eyes would go, honestly, like that. Because usually around here is where I would add the hairline. It's where like where like the hair would kind of like where you would put like bangs and stuff. And then I like to do this little like line here to indicate where like the ear would be, and then around here is where do like that half heart thing again. And obviously for the inside I just do literally just a line like this. It's literally just like a T but sideways, but in like a weird way. Just like that. And then obviously the neck. And honestly when you're doing sorry, when you're doing a neck, don't usually do it like this. You just like to add a little bit of like a curve there, because if you look on like references of like bodies, you can see it has like that like curve instead of being like straight down. And you just add a little curve there, and then I like usually add a shadow like this, usually just that, and then just color it in a little like that. Honestly, for you just add 2 simple lines for like the collarbone, and then just a little line like that. So that's honestly what you would do for like a view like this. Honestly, it's literally almost the same for front views. So obviously for front views, do a little circle, a line straight down, then like a cross in the circle, then add a triangle. And it honestly depends on like if you're drawing male or female, because usually a lot of male bodies have like sharper like points, like sharper lines, instead of being smooth like females, honestly. And then usually around here is where I would put the ear, and then I would end it around the next line like this. It honestly looks a little off, but it's okay. And then obviously they're on the neck, and then whoa, wait, messed up a little. Then just color in the shadow. It's kind of like this. It's literally just the basic shapes again for both of these. Is literally just a circle and a triangle. Honestly, depends on what you're drawing. Will really depend on like the thing that you're doing, like the gender you're doing. But tip for side views, it always curves, like it goes like a curve, and then it will go like this. It will go like that. And for like the kind of view, it'll go like it'll kind of go in like a little squiggly, and then it'll go straight like that. Because if we look at some of my other references that I did, you can see I did that. It goes like that. Honestly, that's what I did. But yeah, just like that. And honestly, that's mainly it for like heads and stuff. And I'm gonna show you guys the hardest part. Hands, be prepared. Okay, here we go for almost the hardest part in art. Hands. We hate hands, but they're literally, you need to know how to draw hands. But just practice, you'll be fine. So basic shape for hands. If we look at my like thing I did on my hands, you can see all my basic shapes I did right there. Kind of see that? It can suck, trust me. So we're just gonna do like a little basic shape. So for that, what I want to do is add sort of like a box, but it's like kind of split like this. You can kind of see it. Then you make the shape sort of like a diamond, as you can like see. Obviously we're gonna mark like inside for like a little detail, and then I usually like to draw the palm part and then the wrist part. Obviously this is just like so you know what you're doing. That's what you would have. And then here we go for the fingers. This is gonna suck. Usually like to start like this, and then honestly I do this all the time, and a lot of artists do that. I would connect the fingers, these two, connect it. It just makes it a lot easier. You guys see? Looks horrendous, but if we go to that reference again, you can see obviously I messed it up a little, which is okay. All you had to do is just a little adjustment. Kind of see it just looks like this kind of, which I messed up a little on here, which is okay. And then for the thumb part, which I honestly hate, you want to go like this. It goes like a curve and then like a point like that. Because if you look, you can see it goes like a curve and then it goes up. And then I like to usually like that. It really just looks exactly like this. It's like Because if you look on actual hands, you can see it goes sort of like a curve, and then it goes like that. Because like here, there it goes like this, and then it goes up. So yeah, that's like the basic shape for just doing this. But I'll draw hands in any angle. But if you want to do it in like a way where your hand is like this, you can see it looks like sort of like small-ish. What I like to do for that is draw a little rectangle. Like that, because you can see it's like sort of like a rectangle. And then if I look back at my other reference, my references really, you can see how you would have like that sort of like triangle in like the middle connecting like the wrist and the hand itself. It has like that curve sort of thing. That's like where your like wrist bends, kind of. So I would like to draw a little like rectangle like that, except I'll leave like a little gap, because then here is where you'll curve and then add that like triangle point there. Like that. And then for like the thumb part, which I honestly hate when it comes to doing that, you can see it's like that curve, like sort of trapezoid shape. So first let's draw that finger. So you can see for the finger, basically it's just a little curve. Like that, because if you look at your actual hand, you can't really see the fingers unless you obviously bend them. But then for that like part of the like the thumb, like sort of like this, because if you look you can kind of see like that curve part here. You go like this and curve a little like that. Looks kind of bad, but it's okay. A lot of stuff I do looks bad, but if we look obviously at a better looking reference, obviously looks a lot better than that, but we're gonna try and do this one. So but if you're gonna do like where your thumb is straight down, you're gonna want to add that sort of curve. See, this is why we have erasers, for that reason specifically. So if you're gonna want to do it where your thumb is sort of bending like this, I want to add a little triangle, and then since it goes in like curves, you're gonna want to like it's like this, and then obviously we're gonna want to add the rest of the fingers. What I like to do is do like little shapes first, like little lines first. See, you can kind of see I add little lines as like reference basically there, because you know it could suck to draw hands without. And big tip, draw hands with a reference. Either use your actual hand like this, right? Because you can see if you use your actual hand as a reference, it will help a lot. At least sometimes it will. But use your actual hand or pictures of hands as references. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. It really helps a lot. Just know that. Okay? Biggest tip. Look up reference, or use your own hand. It helps a lot. So just know that. Use references. I usually like to look up references on Pinterest, honestly, so I use the most. Okay, honestly, one of my least favorite hand like things is obviously this one. This one sucked the most, to be honest. So I'll show you guys how to do that one. If you just bear with me. So curved line. Can't really see it. Curved line. curve inward like that. Kind of see it's like the base. Basic shapes of hands, always the best. I usually like to add the wrist next. Honestly, not that big though. Okay, just like that. Base, easy, simple. You'll know how to do it, but it takes practice, honestly. Then what I like to do, little triangle for the thumb base. So if you look back at that other drawing, you can see it sort of has that, and then there's a triangle, except it's not as like this, honestly. It's more of like, what is it? It's more of like a side, it's like, you're basically making a 3D triangle, kind of. So it would be like this. Like that. Have your basic shape like that. It looks like a nub, or like a stub, or whatever you want to think of it. But trust, it helps. And then you can see that line is curved, which I never really fixed, because that's where your fingers would go. Look, if you're getting bored of these basic shapes and you don't want to rush into hands drawing their details in these immediately, it does not help you at all. Right? So once you got those basic shapes, I'm going to talk about all these really bad drawings. So once you got those basic shapes, right, you can see I added lines, a little bit of lines. What you want to do, just clean up your shapes a little so you can be ready to draw the fingers. What I like to do is I like to draw shapes, like little lines to help me, to guide me. Like that. Kind of see it. And then just go at it. And just try to, you can see there's a curve here. I'm using, yes, I am using my other hand drawings as references because I can't remember how to do any of this. Dang, this looks really bad. You can kind of see through my horrible example on how it would look. You can kind of see I kind of did it a little just like that, honestly, but not as like horrendous. So yeah, you're going to want to do is obviously you will make mistakes, a lot of mistakes, but that's why we have erasers. So if you ever have to, use your eraser. Not like anyone's gonna judge you for it. In fact, just use your eraser. It really helps. See, you can really see through my horrible example. It looks horrendous. Unlike this one, it looks really great. It's because I didn't really add this curve here to give it more shape. That looks a little better. And then what do you say? Okay. Yeah. Kind of like that. It can suck, but you'll learn as you get through it even more. You'll understand. So we'll just look more at these. You can see that through this one, you can see I added like a little like square. You can basically almost see every basic shape I did. You can see the triangle, right? You can see a sort of like rectangle for the wrist part. And then obviously you can see these little lines that show exactly where your finger like bends. And then you can see I erased a lot. Like I erased a lot. But this one I didn't really erase a lot. It's because this was the last hand I drew. This was the last one. Even for this one, you can see I still erased a lot because I messed it up really bad. And see, I still erased here. I erased a lot around here, mainly on this hand. Eyes where I erased a lot, even though you still see a lot of the erase marks. So yeah, you will erase a lot as you draw. You will have to. Just know that, okay? And tips for hands: use your own hand or look up references. You understand. Looking up references saves lives, okay? Next, let's figure out how to draw eyes. So we're gonna do it on the same page as like the heads. So, basic shape for eyes. It's honestly one of the most simple things I've ever done personally. But obviously, like I said, side view eyes want to be in a triangle shape. Like that. And then front views, I usually like to do it. I like to do a little line like that, right? Then add just some basic shapes for now. You can kind of see my basic shape. Then, once I do all the basic shapes, I will sketch lightly over this insane shape, is where I would add almost every feature now. Obviously, adding like this line on the top is for the eyelid goes is honestly a lifesaver. Just like that. That's usually what the basic shape would look like. I sketched on it lightly so you can see like the origin of the shape, kind of. Like that. But the shape you build will depend on the shape of the eye. Like if I do like a very, get a little darker, kind of see that shape, right? I sketch on it lightly. The shape of the basic shape you do will depend on the shape of the eye. And then obviously I like adding the eyelid helps for me the most, so I know how far or how low I need to add the eyebrow. It just helps me the most. It doesn't matter to me. Well, I'm so sorry. But however you do it, I'm just saying that whatever your basic shape will be will depend on the eye. Like the shape you start with will depend on the shape of the eye. But I usually like to go for either like square shapes or like a circle kind of. It's like a half kind of. Kind of see it would be like the. Like that kind of. But honestly, the shape of the eye will also depend on what your character would look like. Like if usually they have a little bit of a smaller eye, usually you'd say that they're like more of like, honestly, sad, sort of tired, or usually, or just that's just how their eye shape is. Or bigger, I would usually say it would show that it's sort of like that would be your character would be like a girl kind of. But honestly, depends on your art style. I'm just saying that most every single anime girl I've seen, their eyes are usually a little bigger and more like have more of like the lashes sort of. Because even if you look at like other if you even look at my anime figure cause tutorial, you can see his eye is relatively big, but he's not a girl. You can also probably can see that there's not much of like a lot of like the lash details. You can see that. I would usually be able to tell just by an eye that's usually a boy or a girl. But it honestly depends on the art style. Because I don't know what any of my girl anime figures are, but I have Nezuko or Missouri from Demon Slayer. You can see that their eyes are a little bigger, and the detail of their lashes are a lot like more intense, I would say. But yeah, that's what I would say. But it also really depends on your art style and how you draw them. Honestly, doesn't matter your art style. It's not my art style. We all have different art styles. So that's basically the basic shape for eyes, I would say. But it really depends on your art style or how the character on who you're drawing will depend on that too. If you're going to draw straight off a reference, maybe look at my link amiibo too. You can kind of see can't really see it, but you can see his eye is relatively big, but you can see that it's also the style of like Nintendo and stuff, but you can see that his eye is big. It has the lash, but it's not as like, what would be the word for that? Intense, I guess, because you can see that, you can still tell that Link is like obviously a dude, mainly because like the rest of like, you know, the design and stuff, but telling off the eye really depends on the art style. I'm not saying that every character who has big eyes is a girl. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying usually it depends on the artist or the like anime or like the game and stuff. But what I would say is that oftentimes, the word is often, usually girls have bigger eyes. I'm just saying that, but I'm not saying that as in like a stereotypical way. Okay? I'm saying that as in like a way of like art. But usually a lot of my girl OCs have eyes like this or eyes like that. A lot of my dude OCs have eyes like this. Just know that. It really depends on your art style. Every art style I'd say is really cool. Okay? But it just depends. It really depends. But the way I do it is usually the more lash you give your character's eyes is what the eye would look like. Really? But I'm just going off of like basics I've learned. Oftentimes girls have bigger eyes. Usually dudes have smaller, more like thinner eyes, I guess. But I'd say it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter to me. But that's just the basics I've learned because I drew a bunch of eyes and I'm like, you know, because you can see that eye can be for a guy, doesn't matter. It could be girl, guy, it does not really matter. But you can see here of my like sort of lash detail, you can see, look, that meant to be like eyes for like a girl because I need more help. But you can see that the eyes are a lot smaller, but you can still kind of tell it's a girl because I added the lash sort of design in a way for you to be able to tell. But even through other, like through body type, or usually often through body type you can tell, but if you're just drawing eyes of your character, then sure, it doesn't really matter to me. But however you draw eyes, I'd say it's cool either way. Just draw eyes on how you draw eyes. It's just the way I learned. So next part I think is, well, really bad drawing now. I would say is maybe bodies next. What I would say is probably one of the hardest things for me personally to draw is bodies. I just have more struggle doing it. But maybe for you, bodies are easier, but really depends. So what I start with we're gonna do male and female, mainly front view though, because I need a reference for drawing side views. So what I like to start with is a neck. Just like a basic little rectangle. Then I'm gonna have to look back at my reference. You can kind of see that for a male, their bodies are more like a little, what would be the word for it? Like a lot of the lines are more sharp, I would say. Unlike female, it's more like a little bit curved from the front. From the front view. You can see that the line, they kind of have sort of a rectangle sort of thing. So I'd usually start with a simple line first, then I'd go down. So you can kind of have like this sort of thing. I'm just gonna add like, this is the spot where the arms would go, but we're not gonna draw arms. And then just add a simple line down the middle, like that. Honestly, it takes practice to really get it perfect, but I'm just gonna, I like to just go straight. You can see that how I'm doing it, there's a lot more sharper lines. And then just gonna go like that. You can kind of see that's where like this whole like spot is kind of like the rib cage, I would say. Honestly, not the best way for me to describe it. If you have any questions, just like comment it, because I'm honestly the worst at explaining things. And then what I usually like to do is add a kind of curve, sort of, because obviously male bodies also have that sort of curve to like on like their like waist, on like their, nah, it's like the middle part of your like torso kind of. They still have like that curve. Kind of see, I just did the curve just a little. Okay. Next, what is that reference? I can't remember how to even draw it. Oh my god. You gotta lock in now. Okay, let's look at it again. See, there's like this sort of like part where like that's where your like waist would sort of be. So we're just gonna do like a little line and go down. That's like sort of it, kind of. Then this is where like your like legs, like the legs would start. It's like around here is when the legs would start. These little like sort of triangles here is where legs start. That's where the legs would start. Honestly, not the best, I would say, but it still helps. But yeah, usually I like to leave this little spot empty for like when I would start drawing. I would usually leave it empty, but usually it's not supposed to be as odd shaped, I would say, because honestly, drew this yesterday, still don't really remember much. But as you can see, for male there and female, it's like little curved, because like if you look at some people's posture, you can, or like posture, like this is just a picture I found and I just kind of went off of it. It's like curved on like posture. It's like curved. It's not always so straight up. You can see. So yeah, and obviously you can see for male that it still goes out, but then it goes straight down. But female, obviously, since of like their chest and stuff, it goes out, in, then curves. Obviously because of like their chest and stuff. But yeah, you can do that in any like shape or form as you want. But this is just a picture I went off of. But yeah, it's mainly for male, it just goes out, then does a little curve. But for female, it goes out, in, curve. And they have more of an arc in their, like a, what would be the word for that? Like a curve in their back. Honestly, male don't really have that. It's more of like a little bit like it's like more of like a little pointier. But female, it goes like, it's a lot smoother, I would say. Then it goes down. But for male, it literally just goes out. So yeah. Okay. That's for side views, I'd say. Now for female, it's kind of be the right word. It's a little the same. But this is just a way I went off of on Pinterest. What you would do is draw a little circle at the top and just draw a line straight down. Don't forget that. And then we look back at my drawing reference again. Alright, okay. You can kind of see it's like that, and you can see for male it's more of like sort of like this shape, but for female it's just a curve when it gets to like their waist part, like their waist. You just define this shape a little. See, even if you're really good at art, you'll still need to use an eraser. Okay, anyway, you can see for female you gotta go, you can kind of should look like this. Let's just erase this little line. But I'd start off with a circle and then add a little triangle at the top. I think that's how it was. You just double check. Yeah, it's sort of like a cut at the bottom, at the top, I'd say. But it would be a lot wider. It would look like this, basically. Okay. And then I'd obviously add a little line. A little line that goes inward. Then add a curve from where you want the body to end. Add a curve, and obviously the line, the circle here and the circle down here will obviously show the body type. What I like to do is then, or if you want to draw a little circle here, you can. Honestly, it helps more. And then here you can also add the arms, like where the arms would start. Let's just add that. Arms start Sorry if you can't read my handwriting, it's always really bad. Arms start. Sorry about my handwriting though. And then obviously they would be more like it would look more like this. Yeah, like just like that. And obviously legs start. Obviously this right here is where the legs would start. Obviously, I mean honestly, I would, just like the male, I would leave this part empty as well. But mainly the basic shapes for male would be rectangle, like rectangles, squares. I already added a square. Well, this would be sort of the main shape, and then obviously just some triangles if you want for like here, because you would obviously have to add shape like there for the neck part. Then honestly, basic shapes for female, mainly circles, I would say, and then sort of like half circles to rectangle for the neck, then some triangles for where the legs would start. It basically, you can see that the male is more of like rectangles and more sharper, and females have more of like a circular sort of body. And yeah, honestly, that's all I would want to teach you guys for now. That's just some of the basic stuff for bodies, but I'll give you guys some tips for like hair and arms mainly, because arms honestly suck. But for hair, I'd say is second hardest, beside next to hands. If I would put it in the hardest, it'd be hands, hair, body. Hair, basic shapes is mainly curves like this or like this, really. That's really mainly all it is, as you can see here. And for like this drawing here, sorry if this video is also kind of getting really long, but as you can see here, for hair, you can see how it kind of goes like this for a basic shape. And then you can see it goes like this and then it curves around. Hair can be really hard because usually if you want to get it the right way, but it can be really hard, as you can also see here, like that. But this can really suck the most. Like drawing like mainly the bangs, I would say, is the hardest. But like I say, if you practice, you will get very, very good. I just have to practice more on mainly the side views, hair, like side like view of bodies, hair, just bodies in general. You'll be awesome at drawing, but you just have to practice. Practicing, honestly, I'd say the hardest thing to draw, I'd practice more, obviously, but still practice on everything else, because you need to know honestly everything in order to draw like insane like bodies. But biggest thing I would say is, but yeah, that's everything I'm going to teach you guys for now. But if you guys need questions, just like comment it and I'll do it. But the biggest thing, I'm going to give you guys tips. Use an eraser, a mechanical pencil. Don't sketch hard, sketch lightly, because if you sketch hard, it's going to be hard to erase, because you'll have like still like that like sort of like sketch, not really sketch mark, it's more like that mark here. Let me show you. Like say if that's like a harder sketch, but if you do it lightly and then you erase the light one, it's easier, it's like better. But if you erase the harder one, you'll still see like that, and it's gonna take a while to erase until it's all the way gone, and then you'll still see it, and then it might mess you up on outlining. So pro tip, sketch lightly and then look up references. References are awesome. Like what I would do in Pinterest, I would search up hand drawing reference, so many would show up, or hair drawing reference, or side view reference. Honestly, it saves it's awesome. It's just amazing. I love searching up references. Like, it doesn't matter how good you are, how bad you are, or how bad, that's not even really a good word, or even if you're like a huge beginner, I would say, like a very, like, if you're like a beginner artist or a pro artist or like sort of in the middle, references saves lives. Just half of the drawings I've showed you guys in my old sketchbook. Like, see here. This one, I looked up a reference. This one, I looked up a pose reference. This one, I looked up a reference of Team Rocket from Pokemon. Literally, this one, looked up a pose reference. This one, I looked up a pose reference. This one again, I looked up a picture of Apollo, and then I attempted to draw it. This one, I looked up a pose reference. This one, I yet again, take a guess, I looked up a pose reference. This one, I had a reference on hand and I just added his design to it. This one, I used a Yu-Gi-Oh card as a reference. It helps. This one, I looked up a reference. And for the rest of them, take a wild guess. I want you guys to guess. I looked up references for all of them. It's because references are amazing and they save lives. Just know that. So yeah, just practice. I'm gonna say it again. Look up references. Okay? And sketch lightly and practice. And don't compare yourself to other artists, because usually the really good artists are usually the ones who have been doing it for like years and went to school for art. Okay? Don't compare yourself to other artists. Just don't compare yourself. Okay? You work at your own pace. Some people who are the best artists out there went to school for it, practice literally almost every hour of the day, and also probably been doing it for years and years. So just know that. Don't compare yourself. Sketch lightly, look up references, and take your time and practice. That's what I'm gonna say. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, I suck at explaining everything. Just comment. Just comment and I might respond if my comments are on. I hope they're on and not off, I swear. But yeah, just take your time. Have any questions, just comment and watch this guy called Shrimpy Art. His tutorials are a lot better than what I am doing. I will put his like channel in my description or my title so you know, because he's awesome. But yeah, hope you guys can do it and have fun drawing.